Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. I am just Mike. You are watching and you are listening to episode number 25 of the Rock Out Wild Show. If you haven't done so yet, and if you are new to this very channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below this very video and click the notification bell to get all the content that comes up on this very channel. You can also like this episode and share this episode to everyone you know and spread the word about the Rock Out Wild Show to your family, friends, co-workers, everybody. And the sirens are out the window. That didn't take long, not even a minute in. Anyway, this is episode 25, like I said, of the Rock Out Wild Show. Now, back on episode 8. I ranked my top 10 favorite YouTubers of 2024. And now for this very episode, I will rank my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time. Now, this will be the main event of this very episode. And as of this recording, it is May 29th, 2025. And this episode will be aired on June 18th, 2025. So there's plenty of time between now and then until this episode comes rolling around. On the docket, we are going to do on this day for June 18th in pop culture, music, wrestling, movies, and television. And to kick things off, I am going to react to an old movie review of mine, a movie called The Captive, starring Ryan Reynolds, who is in a little bit of well, as of this point, it's May 29th. He's in a little bit of hot water with a lawsuit going on as we speak. I'm not going to dive into that at all. I'm going to leave that whole schmozzle out of this review for the time being. So, let's share screen. Let's present the Captive movie review. Actually, before I do, I'm going to start the camera. Hey, what's up? Now I'm going to present share screen, the Captive, and share. Make sure the audio is on, perfect. And let's react to my old movie review called The Captive in 3, 2, 1, action.
Well, that could have been a lot better.
A lot better, huh?
Hey, what is up, all movie fans in the movieverse? Welcome to the Mike McRock Movie Review YouTube channel. Right now, I'm going to talk about a movie called The Captive. And this movie is about a kidnapping that took place 8 years ago when Ryan Reynolds and his wife realized that someone kidnapped their daughter and they have to do everything they can to find her. And this movie stars Ryan Reynolds. And I thought Ryan Reynolds in this movie was okay. I didn't think this was his best performance in anything he has ever done. I think he could have carried a lot more emotion and depth and more intensity in his role. There was a scene where
I will say this, Ryan Reynolds is far more better than comedy than he is serious drama. That's my biggest critique of Ryan Reynolds as an actor and as a performer.
didn't meet up with a bad guy in this movie, and I was thinking, why isn't he showing a lot of emotion here? He was just calm, cool, and collected. And it was just felt really off.
Mm-hmm.
And it really didn't suit his character. So to me, with Ryan Reynolds, it's a hit and miss. At one point, he was good in the movie. In the beginning parts, the way his reaction was when his daughter was kidnapped, I thought that was fine. But once the movie got going, I thought Ryan Reynolds was slowly starting to fade away in his performance. You also have Scott Speedman as Jeffrey in this movie. I like this character, even though I couldn't get behind him. Sometimes you need a movie with a guy that you just can't stand. I don't like him, and he was that guy. You also had Rosario Dawson in this movie as Nicole, and I like her backstory in this movie. I would have liked to know maybe a little bit more of what happened, but I really liked her character and her role. I thought Rosario Dawson was really good in this movie.
I have to say this as a side note. I do miss Rosario Dawson in the Daredevil show on Netflix.
And I found myself more invested in her backstory than I was
Which is now on Disney Plus.
invested into the plot of the movie, because to me, this movie really had no mystery behind it at all.
Right,
It
yeah.
was just one of those
No
movies, you
suspense.
know what's going to happen. It's very predictable,
Right.
and it leaves no mystery. Even though there's
Yeah, it's not like this movie is like Prisoners or something like that.
mystery to some of the characters involved, like the villain, which I will get to. The movie itself really had no mystery behind it,
Right.
but I will applaud this movie for being very different. This had a different style from any other kidnapping movie that I've seen recently,
Okay.
because it was very creepy in a beautiful, twisted, disturbing kind of way,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of leads me to the villain, and I think that is the best way I can describe the villain in this movie, played by Kevin Durant. His performance to me was the best in this movie. He was creepy as heck. He was on a whole new level of creepiness that I'd never seen before, and he done a tremendous job in his role as the villain. He was great,
Cool.
and I thought he was not only the best actor in this movie, but maybe he could win the award for best villain.
No.
I'm just saying. I'm just going to throw that out there. But we'll see what happens at the end of this year.
Interesting.
And I thought overall this movie, to me, was a hit and miss. It was okay. It's not the best movie that I've seen, nor wasn't the worst movie I've seen. I think that it comes nowhere near close of Prisoners, and nowhere near as close as good as Taken. That's
funny. I just mentioned Prisoners not too long ago.
for sure.
Oh,
But it does
Taken's
have
great.
some good redeeming qualities. I like the cheesy music. I was actually laughing at the music while I was watching this movie in a good way. I thought it really fitted the tone of the movie. And also, with that said, I thought the movie really had a lot of dumb people as well. You had dumb cops that really shouldn't be
Oh
dumb
my
at all. I
God.
thought that was ridiculous. There were some plot holes. I mean, you're thinking, these people are looking for a kidnapping ring of people, and
Yeah.
they don't interview anyone in the prison to find the guy that kidnapped this guy's daughter, who's been held captive for 8 freaking years.
Okay, time out,
Why
time out,
didn't
time
they
out.
do that?
Time out for one quick second. The police force are probably one of the most smartest, at least somewhat some of the smartest people. I mean, they work for the law and things like that, right? You don't put them in a movie and have them play dumb. That is just ridiculous. Anyway, back to this.
I thought, to me, there was a missed opportunity to go there, and there were a lot of missed opportunities in this movie. One in particular, the daughter. I thought her role was off to me. I'm not sure what it was, but I guess when you're held captive for 8 years, I guess you're kind of used to the bad guy, but I thought her role was just way off. It would come across more believable if she was suffering a lot more and not wanting to do anything with the villain. Instead, she's talking to the villain. I thought that was weird, but I guess some things are just left to the imagination. I'm not
Right.
really sure what the idea is behind there. The beginning parts of this movie were very slow. It was starting to drag a little, and there were a lot of scenes that were just jumbled in pieces, and the time frames were off, and you couldn't really tell what was going on in the past or the present. I thought that was a little weird, but
Right.
once the movie got going, it got going. It
Believe
was
it.
one of those movies where it was slow pace in the beginning, but it kind of did pick up around at the end. It got a little suspenseful, a little thrilling, but it wasn't enough to save this movie at all. I thought it was an okay movie with some good things, but more bad things. And I thought that this movie, like I said, is nowhere near close as any of the movies that I've named.
Right.
So overall, I would rank this movie maybe 63 points out of 100 in the
I
section
agree.
of Canadian-made movies. And I will
Right.
say this: there was a scene in this movie where where they were shooting at a restaurant, and I was in that restaurant just a couple of years ago. I heard that they tore it down or something like that.
Oh, really?
Oh well, but I could say that I was in a restaurant where a movie was filmed at that location. I was there. So I do have some bias. So yeah, I am going to give a points for that. But like I said, this
There you
movie
go.
did have some problems, but it
Now I'm trying to figure out which restaurant was that. I'd have to look that up afterwards.
came across as an okay movie. So that's my thoughts on The Captive. And if
Right.
you saw this movie, what did you think about it? Feel free to chime in, comment below, and tell me what did you think about The Captive, and also Ryan Reynolds' performance as well. And with that said, you can also hit that subscribe button down below this video to get Mick Rocked.
Yeah. So that was my reaction to my movie review for The Captive. Uh, yeah, it sounds like a half decent movie. Uh, Ryan Reynolds doesn't seem to be uh, more comfortable doing drama, I don't think. Which is why I said I think he's far better at comedies than he is in dramas. Which is why I gave this a little bit of a lower score than a normal Ryan Reynolds comedy. Kind of like, like the first Deadpool. Like, I can't wait to get to that movie once I go over all my movie reviews. So, yeah, that was my reaction to The Captive, starring Ryan Reynolds. And let's get into some of the stuff that happened on this day. And we're going to start with film and television. So we are going to present, share screen, and let's see what happened in the world of film and television for June the 18th. We're going all the way back first in 1940. General Charles D. Gaulle, or Charles D. Gaulle, Gaulle. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but you can tell me in the comments how to pronounce it. So back in 1940, this person here, this French president, makes his first speech on the BBC to the French people since arriving in London, and an appeal to defy Nazi occupiers, regarded as the beginning of French resistance during World War II. In 1945, William Joyce, Lord Haha, faces politician and Nazi propaganda broadcaster charged with treason in England. Yikes, we're starting with a couple of doozies here. And another doozy. In 1947, Gene Roddenberry survives a plane crash in the Syrian desert while working for Pan American World Airways. As long as he survived, that is great. In 1953, Third Berlin International Film Festival, The Wages of Fear wins Golden Bear audience vote. In 1954, Fourth Berlin International Film Festival, Hobson's Choice wins Golden Bear, another audience choice. In 1959, New York City premiere of the film version of Catherine Holmes' The Nun Story. In 1961, CBS Radio cancels Gunsmoke, and I heard that show ran for a number of years. In 1961, KBMT TV Channel 12 in Beaumont, Texas, ABC begins broadcasting. In 1969, The Wild Bunch, directed by Sam Peckinpah, and it stars William Holden and Ernest Borgnine, is released. In 1975, NBC News and Information Service premieres on radio. In 1982, ABC's All Talk Radio Network expands to 22 stations. In 1987, Charles Glass, ABC journalist, kidnapped in Lebanon. In 1995, memorial service for Elizabeth Montgomery is held at the Canyon Theater in Beverly Hills. In 1999, Hindi film Hum Dadi Chuk Senam premieres, directed by Sanjay Leela Bansal, starring Salman Khan, Ajay Devgan, and Aishwarya Rai. I probably butchered those names to Kingdom Come. In 2001, the Fast and the Furious film, directed by Rob Cohen, starring Paul Walker and Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez, premieres. In 2003, Google launches AdSense, a program that enables website publishers to serve ads targeted to the specific content of their individual web pages, many of which, like On This Day, like I'm viewing right now, then HistoryOrb.com, go on to start their own publishing business. In 2005, David Tennant's first appearance as the 10th Doctor in BBC's Doctor Who episode, The Parting of the Ways, and I know this actor best as one of the best villains in the Marvel hit TV show Jessica Jones, just to add a little extra. In 2012, let's try that again. 2012 Second Critics' Choice Television Awards. Community wins Best Comedy Series. Homeland wins Best Drama Series. In 2014, British actor Ian McKellen is awarded an honorary degree by Cambridge University, becoming a Doctor of Letters. In 2022, Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science apologizes to Sachin Littlefeather for the treatment she received when she declined an Oscar on behalf of actor Marlon Brando in 1973. That's insane. And that is all the stuff that happened on this day for June the 18th. Now let's look at what happened. Let's look at what happened in the world of music for June 18th. As the picture, you see a bunch of records right there. And let's see what's going on. The vinyl LP transforms the record industry. So in June 18th, in 1948, Columbia Records revolutionized the music industry by introducing the 33 1/3 RPM vinyl LP. Their first release on the new format was Felix Mendelssohn's Violin Concerto in E minor, conducted by Bruno Walter and performed by the Philharmonic Symphony Orchestra of New York. Prior to this, music was only available on 78 RPM shellac records, which allowed for just one song per side. With the mass production by vinyl LPs, music fans could conveniently enjoy an entire album on one disc. This remained the standard format for albums until the late 70s, when the cassette tape took over and as much more convenient, and is also portable, ways to enjoy music. In 1977, Fleetwood Mac scored their sole #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100 with Dreams. The song, which appeared on the band's 11th album, Rumors, would re-enter global charts 43 years later, thanks to its use in a viral video. In 1976, ABBA took part in a special celebration for Sweden's king, Carl XVI, Gustav, and his soon-to-be wife, Sylvia Smotherlath. The star-studded event, dubbed Sweden's Royal Variety Performance, found the group delivering one of the first performances of their hit Dancing Queen. In 1993, Herb Alpert and Jerry Moss, who co-founded A&M Records, stepped down as the heads of the legendary label after more than 30 years. Following a sale to Polygram, the storied label released albums by Cat Stevens, Janet Jackson, Carpenters, The Police, and Yellow Magic Orchestra, among many others. And in 1964, 17 lucky female fans celebrated Paul McCartney's 22nd birthday with the Beatles during an after-show party in Sydney, Australia. Attendees were selected through a competition in the Daily Mirror. And we also have some birthdays in the world of music. On June 18th, born in 25, Johnny Pearson from Bandleader. Born in 1942 is Richard Perry, who is a producer. Born June 18th, 1942 is the one and only Paul McCartney. Born in 1971, Nathan Morris, Boys to Men. Born in 76 is Busby, who is a songwriter. Born June 18th, 76, Blake Shelton. Born on 1988 is John Dunn from 21 Pilots. And from 1994, Takeoff from Migos. And those are some of the things that happened on this day in the world of music. Now, let us take a look at what happened on this day for June 18th in the world of professional wrestling. In 1995, WCW Great American Bash is held at the Hara Arena in Dayton, Ohio, in front of around 6,000 fans. And there is the match card right there. We have Alex Wright defeating Brian Pillman by pinfall. We have Dave Sullivan defeating Diamond Dallas Page in an arm wrestling contest. Hacksaw Jim Duggan defeated Sergeant Craig Pittman by disqualification. Harlem Heat, Booker T and Stevie Ray defeated Dick Slater and Buckhouse Buck. That's right. Buckhouse Buck. And then we got the Renegade hits Arn Anderson with a splash from the top rope and gets the pin to win the WCW World Television Champion. Then we got the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs. They defeated the Blue Bloods, Earl Robert Eaton and Lawrence Stephen Regal. And they retained to the WCW World Tag Team Championships. And in a tournament final, Sting defeated Meng to win the vacant WCW US title. The championship was vacated back in March when Commissioner Nick Bockwinkel stripped Vader of the championship after deliberately injuring Dave Sullivan. And Ric Flair pinned Macho Man Randy Savage after hitting him with a cane. On this day, on June 18th, 2001, on an episode of WWF Monday Night Raw in Tampa, Florida, a masked man came out riding a motorbike to The Undertaker's music. That is an image I have to see. Getting into the ring, Jim Ross on commentary said that this must be the human being that's been stalking The Undertaker's wife. Taking off his mask in the ring, he revealed himself to be the debuting Diamond Dallas Page, who got a huge ovation from the crowd. In 2004, CMLL Inferno NL Ring was held in Mexico City, Mexico. Dr. Wagner Jr. defeated Al Koenig in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win the UWA heavyweight title. Wagner would hold the belt for the next 7 years until it was retired on October 7th, 2011. In 2005, day 1 of WXW Dead End V was in Essen, Germany. The main event was a Fans Bring the Weapons match in which Hate beat Violent Tom to take the WXW hardcore title. Also in 2005, at FWA No Limits in Morecambe, England, Martin Stone and Styx defeated Andy Boy Simmons and the Duke of Danger to win the FWA Tag Team titles. And then in the main event of the show, Minoru Suzuki and Namunishi Marufuji won the GHC Tag Team titles after beating Two Cold Scorpio and Doug Williams. Also in 2005, CM Punk defeated Austin Aries in the main event of Ring of Honor, Death Before Dishonor 3 in Morristown, New Jersey to become the new ROH World Champion. It was well known that Punk had already signed a contract with WWE, and in the weeks that followed, he said he was taking the ROH Championship with him. So began the summer of Punk. Jay Lethal, James Gibson, Roderick Strong, and Christopher Daniels all challenged unsuccessfully for the belt, and it seemed Punk would indeed leave the company with the title. However, at ROH Redemption that August, James Gibson pinned Punk in a fatal four-way elimination match to save the championship. And he almost done the same thing in 2011 as well. In 2005, also, Day 12 of NJPW Best of the Super Juniors XII was in Kyoto, Honshu, Japan. The IWGP U30 Championship changed hands when Hiroshi Tanahashi defeated Toru Yano. In 2006, TNA Slammiversary was held at the Impact Zone in Orlando, Florida, in front of 900 fans. On the pay-per-view, we had Team 3D, Brother Ray and Devon defeat the James Gang, BG James and Kip James, in a Bingo Hall Brawl. Rhino defeated Team Canada, Bobby Roode and Coach Scott D'Amore in a 2-on-1 handicap match. The match ends with Rhino hits D'Amore with the gore and gets the pin. Senshi defeated Sanjay Dutt, Alex Shelley, Shark Boy, Petey Williams, and Jay Lethal in an X Division elimination match. After hitting him with a jackknife powerbomb, Kevin Nash defeated Chris Sabin. AJ Styles and Christopher Daniels defeated America's Most Wanted Chris Harris and James Storm to become the NWA World Tag Team titles. All I have to say about that is sorry about your damn luck. Samoa Joe defeated Scott Steiner, and Jeff Jarrett outlasted Christian Cage, Abyss, Ron Killings, who is known as R-Truth, and Sting in a King of the Mountain match to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. In 2007, at a TNA Impact taping in Orlando, Florida, Samoa Joe beats both Chris Sabin and Jay Lethal in a three-way match to win the TNA X Division title. In 2010, Capital City Championship Combat Crossing the Line 3 was held at the Knights of Columbus Hall in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. In the main event of the show, Stupefied won a six-way elimination match against El Generico, Jimmy Jacobs, Kevin Steen, Manabu Soya, and Player Uno to win the C4 Championship. Also in 2011, in JPW Dominion 6.18 was in Osaka, Japan. Mascara Dorada defeated Raizuki Tajiri for the CMML welterweight title. I probably butchered that name as well. And then later on in the show, Bad Intentions, Giant Bernard and Carl Anderson defeated Yoshihiro Takayama and Takuma Sano in a champions versus champion match to retain the IWGP Tag Team titles and win the GHC Tag Team titles. Also in 2011, LL USA Masked Warriors number 13 was held at the Hard Rock Casino in Albuquerque, New Mexico. John Reckon and Petey Williams became the new LL USA Tag Team titles, or champions, when they beat Rocky Romero and Supernova. And then in the main event, RJ Brewer won a triple threat match against Lismar Jr. and Marco Corleone to win the LL USA Heavyweight title. Also in 2011, AAA Triple Mania XIX took place at the Paseo de los Deportes in Mexico City, Mexico. Los Perros del Mal defeated Los Psycho Circus, includes Monster Clown, Murder Clown, Psycho Clown, in an Extreme Rules match to become the inaugural AAA World Trios Champions. Jeff Jarrett defeated El Zorro to take the AAA Mega Championship. And then in the main event of the show, Dr. Wagner Jr. defeated Rob Van Dam to be crowned the first ever AAA Latin American champion. Why would Rob Van Dam would be competing for the first ever Latin American championship is beyond my comprehension, but it is what it is. In 2018, WWE Money in the Bank was held in St. Louis, Missouri in front of 15,392 fans. During the kickoff show, the Hype Bros, Mojo Rawley and Zack Ryder, defeated the Colognes, Primo and Epico Cologne. And there is the match card. You can check that out once I go over some of these few more things in wrestling. In 2017, CHIKRA, the Johnny Kidd Invitational, took place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hermit Crab defeated Sylvester Hawk to become the new CHIKARA Young Lions Cup holder. In 2018, in the opening match of WWE Monday Night Raw in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Dolph Ziggler pinned Seth Rollins to become a 6-time WWE Intercontinental Champion. And in 2019, on day 2 of AJPW Dynamite Series in Tokyo, Japan, Jake Lee and Koji Iwamoto defeated Kazumi Katua and Richie Kawakami to win the All Asia Tag Team titles. If I mispronounce any of those names, I am so sorry, but I am trying. I'm actually trying. Then we got some notable wrestling birthdays that happened for June 18th. We got Jordan Oliver, born in 1999. Brendan Cutler, born in 1987. Kenny Chaos, who was born in 1970. Vito Logresso, who was born in 1969. Bruiser Brody, born on 1946. And Larry the Axe Henning, who celebrates his birthday in 1933. He was born on June 18th. And those are all the things that happened in the world of professional wrestling. And now for the final thing for on this day, let's get into some of the things that happened in pulp culture for June 18th. June 18th is Fun Facts and Trivia in History Day. June 18th is History Highlights. Winston Churchill's Finest Hour Speech. So we got Cherry Tart Day, Picnic Day, Sushi Day, and Panic Day. Those are all the things, all the little tidbits for June 18th. June 18th, Fun Facts and Trivia History, 1812. The United States Declaration of War upon the United Kingdom was signed by President James Madison, starting the War of 1812. June 18th, 1873, Susan B. Anthony was fined $100 for attempting to vote in the 1872 presidential election. In 1979, SALT II was signed by the U.S. and the Soviet Union. Winston Churchill gave his finest ever speech. And if you were born on June 18th, you were likely conceived the week of September 25th prior year. And there's a whole thing on Winston Churchill's finest hour speech. And there's also some birthday quotes, some birthdays. Let's look at some birthdays here. E.W. Scripps, American publisher, founded the E.W. Scripps Company. In 1903, Jeanette MacDonald, American actress and singer. Born in 1908, Bud Collyer, American actor and game show host. Born on 1914, E.G. Marshall, who is an American character actor. Born in 1915 is Robert Kanaher. Trying to pronounce these correctly here. Robert Kanaher, American comic book author. 1917, Richard Boone, who's an American actor. Born June 18th, 42, Roger Ebert. We all know who he is, American journalist, critic, and screenwriter. Richard Perry was born in 1942. Isabella Rossellini, Italian actress, born in 52, and of course Blake Shelton in 76. There's a little bit of history for June 18th. And a lot of trivia, show, and share thoughts for June 18th. That's pretty much all I'm going to go over in pulp culture. And I do believe it is time And that's all the things for on this day for June 18th. And it is now that time for the main event of this very episode. And this is the list of my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time. And like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, on episode 8, I've done my top 10 favorite YouTubers of last year. And this isn't, then for this episode, for 25, this is an all-time list. Ever since I started YouTube back in 2007, I followed a lot of subscribers, a lot of channels. I gained subscribers along the way, watched a lot of videos over the years, followed a lot of channels over the years. I started, like I said, in 2007. And it's 2025. That's a lot of years. So I have plenty of good material to work with here. Now, when it comes to the criteria of this list, the top 10, what makes my favorite channels of all time, like what is the criteria for this? Well, I would have to at least watch these channels from when I discovered them until now, or at least up until the past couple of years. And it has to be a consistent thing throughout. I can miss a year or two with some of the channels, but still always keep in touch with some of the channels that I love. And keep in mind, this is a completely subjective list. You don't have to take my word for it. This is my take. This is my opinion. These are my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time. Now, I do have some honorable mentions. We have Just Alex, who used to be known as Deluxe Man. He covers wrestling from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, and all that sorts of stuff. Alex Heavener, who reacts to a lot of music, and I think he's really funny too. Another honorable mention, Cody Leach, who is a movie reviewer, who also does some television. I really like his stuff involving Dexter. I think that's really good. The Rageaholic, who used to be known as Razor Fists, another channel that I sometimes follow on and off. I think the notable thing Razor Fist has done is a 3-part series on Michael Jackson's Innocence, and I highly encourage you to watch them. Raymond Pouncey, who is a much small YouTuber. I usually try to catch him on and off if he's live. Haven't seen him in a while, but Raymond Pouncey is the guy that got me to watch Stranger Things. Then we got Wayward Winchester, and if you know your history of shows, Winchester is the last name of Sam and Dean from Supernatural, and Wayward Winchester uploads the news about the show Supernatural, and that's one of the shows that I used to love, and still love, by the way. Another honorable mention, Crazy Frank. Crazy Frank is a YouTuber that uploads one of my favorite games of all time, Crazy Taxi, and he's one of the best to play the game. And my last honorable mention is 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. If you don't know who Mark Calloway is, he's my favorite wrestler of all time, The Undertaker, and he has his own podcast with his buddy Matt. Sometimes they have guests on there, and those are the ones that are the best of the best when it comes to 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. Now let's get into the top 10 itself. So what are my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time? Well, number 10, Inside of You with Michael Rosenbaum. Michael Rosenbaum is the guy that played Lex Luthor. It is easy to confuse the Lexes every now and then. Michael Rosenbaum played Lex Luthor in Smallville. Tremendous actor in that show. And my introduction to Michael Rosenbaum is actually his own YouTube channel, where he talks to other people, other actors, other behind-the-scenes guys, directors, producers. One of my favorite interviews he's done, he's interviewed James Marsters a couple of times. He interviewed Marques Shepard. He interviewed Michael Bean. He interviewed James Gunn, Vincent D'Onofrio. That's one of my favorite interviews as well. Go check out Michael Rosenbaum if you haven't yet. He does great interviews. Coming in at number 9 on this list, A and P Reacts. A and P Reacts is two guys from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It's a father and his son, Pietro and Antonio. And they react to music, mainly in the world of rock and metal. And sometimes Pietro will come out with an album review of an album that I'm looking forward to and ones I never even heard of. And he'll also rank albums by month, like a top 5 albums of May 2025. I'm sure he has already came out with it as this episode airs. So go check out his channel. And on a side note, I actually met Pietro at a show in Toronto when I saw Camelot Battle Beast in Alexandria. So that was pretty cool. I actually got to meet a YouTuber. So that's pretty much that. Coming in at number 8 on this list, Jason Solomon himself, the Solar Monster sounds off. Solar Monster, I have no idea how he does it. Really busy guy when it comes to creating content. If you don't know who he is one of the OG. He's one of the original guys to podcast about wrestling. So he's talking about WWE Raw, SmackDown. Every now and then he'll throw in an NXT special event in there. He covers AEW, WWE pay-per-view events, all those things. And he also has a podcast not on YouTube, but he'll upload things from his podcast on Sunday up on YouTube as sound clips. So go check out Solar Monster if you haven't done so yet. Number 7 on this list, Jeremy Johns. Jeremy Johns, to me, is one of my favorite movie reviewers of all time. He is one of the reasons why I fell in love with actually doing movie reviews in the first place. He is super high energy, talks really fast. He is hilarious. He does great impressions, by the way. And I just love his style. I love his backdrops, his blue and red. And sometimes his hair is a little messy, but it also adds to the hilariousness. So he's at number 7 on this list. And yeah, Jeremy Johns, I've been following Jeremy probably since 2011. I probably want to say 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. Yeah. And as for Solar Monster Sounds Off, I'll go back to some of these again. Solar Monster Sounds Off, I've been following him since the old TV Tracks days, many years ago. And AMP Reacts the past few years, and also inside with you with Michael Rosenbaum. I've been following him for the past couple of years now. And now we are going to get into the final 6 here. Number 6, Chris Van Vliet. Now, there's 2 channels that he has. He has his own channel called Chris Van Vliet, and then there's CVV Clips, where he posts clips, short clips from his interviews. I absolutely love watching his content. He does great interviews with wrestlers. I've probably touched on him before on my favorite top 10 YouTubers of 2024. And I really don't need to go any further other than Chris Van Vliet has been absolutely killing it with interviews, with promotions, just basically everything. Number 5 on this list of my favorite YouTubers of all time, Passion of the Nerd. Passion of the Nerd covers one of my favorite, if not my favorite TV show of all time, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not just Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but Angel as well, and sometimes Firefly. Mainly the Joss Whedon stuff that happened in the past. And what he does is episode guides, where he'll upload an episode guide of a certain episode of Buffy or Angel. One of my favorite ones he's done is the episode of Buffy or Joyce passed away. It's called The Body. That is one of the most heartbreaking pieces of work I have seen Passion on the Nerd put out there. It's one of his best videos, if not his best video to date. So go check out Passion of the Nerd if you haven't done so yet. Coming in at number 4 on this list, OTRS Central. Oh, and by the way, Passion of the Nerd, I've been following him a number of years. Number 4 is OTRS Central. I've been following OTRS Central since roughly around 2013. And I think it might have been right around really, really close to Christmas. When I was introduced to OTRS Central, I only watched the one guy, Jeff Schlegel, the Schleg Daddy. I didn't follow the crew that he had on with him. It's mainly all his solo stuff that got me into his channel. He covers wrestling from Raw, SmackDown, sometimes TNA, sometimes AEW, and sometimes he'll talk about or rant about something like, I don't know, Jeff Jarrett or Ronda Rousey or anyone of that nature that he doesn't like. The French wrestler that he can't stand, Dino Bravo. I love it when Jeff talks about Dino Bravo. And sometimes he'll throw in a Q&A on YouTube every now and then of, people asking questions on Twitter, and he will post his answers on a later date. Yeah. And on another note, OTRS Central, this is his last year. 2025 is his final year on YouTube. Now, he does have another channel. It's called Schleg Daddy TV, but I don't watch that at all. That's a lot of football stuff, but that's another whole different thing entirely. Now we only have 3 YouTubers left. What is my top 3 favorite YouTubers of all time? Well, my number 3 is Mike Latt. Mike Latt I have been following since roughly around 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there. I first discovered Mike Latt through a game called Star Wars Dark Forces. Now, Star Wars Dark Forces is a game that I used to play when I was a kid. And for the like of me, I couldn't get past the 3rd stage at all. And so back in 2012-ish, 2013-ish, I think it might have been 2013 actually, where I started looking through YouTube to see if anyone plays Star Wars Dark Forces. I found a couple of channels, and some of the gameplay is pretty good, but I found one specific channel, and I started watching the first part of this, and it's 7 parts of Star Wars Dark Forces. And this guy was doing voiceover commentary while playing Star Wars Dark Forces. And that's what drew me in. It was the talking while playing the game I thought was interesting to me. And some of the stuff he was saying about like 1995, there's hardly any internet, no cheat codes, no walkthroughs. You had to figure things out yourself while playing the game and stuff like that. And some of the jokes he will put in every now and then, his sarcastic, dry, dark humor, and that voice. It's Mike Latt's voice that hooked me in. And I've been watching Mike Latt ever since. I have uploaded memes and videos of Mike Latt, and I send it to him, and he enjoys them as well. And I actually sometimes message him every now and then on Discord. I might tell him about this list. I don't know, but we'll see. Coming in the runner-up position at number 2 on this list is a woman who is a singer, an artist, a tattoo artist, a digital artist, an actor. She is multi-talented. That woman is Naomi King. Right now, I do believe she is living in Vancouver, and her YouTube channel is not active anymore, and I understand why. But I do enjoy her music. Lately, I've been enjoying her music a lot more. I've been going through some of her albums on Bandcamp and iTunes. And Naomi King is someone that I have been following since 2011, late 2011, actually. When I first discovered Naomi King, it was through a cover song called The Ship's Going Down by Voltaire. And ever since then, I've been hooked ever since. I watched a lot of her covers. And not too long after that, she was doing some of her own original content, her own original songs. And she would have these other type of videos where she would talk about just natural everyday type of things. And I'm going to actually start my camera up again because I want to showcase something to you all. This is a book called Advice for When You Feel Like Shit, and this is authored by Naomi King. Naomi King wrote this book. This book actually came out many, many years ago. And only recently I discovered some things about Naomi King that is worth reading and worth listening to. All of what is written here is also on YouTube, so you can check those videos out as well. So that's the thing. And that's the reason why Naomi King is really, really high on this list, but there's only one YouTuber. When I started this list, I knew exactly who would be number one. Not only have I been following this, when it comes to my number one favorite YouTuber of all time, not only have I been following this channel since roughly around, I do want to say it might be 2016 or 15. Yeah, it was roughly around 2016. It was right when he started actually doing YouTube. Not only that, I've been friends with this guy ever since, and still am to this very day. My number one favorite YouTuber of all time is Sean Chandler Talks About. He also has another channel called Sean Chandler Plus, which you can definitely check out. He does movie-related content. He talks about movies and TV way too much. He's a movie reviewer, and probably the best movie reviewer out there currently as of this point. Nobody can touch him. He is unstoppable right now. He is on fire. He's the best at what he does and the best all around. That is why Sean Chandler is number one and will be my favorite YouTuber of all time going forward. Who knows? Maybe in another 5 or 10 years, if I do this list again, we'll see how that all pans out. But that is my list of my top 10 favorite YouTubers of all time. And that has been episode 25 of the Rock Out Wild Show. Right now, I'm going to leave you with a bit of quote, and it goes something like this. And it's called Perspective of the Day. Cherish every moment spent with your family, for those are the memories that will warm your heart in the times of need. The laughter, the conversations, the shared meals, these are the threads that weave a tapestry of love and connection. Embrace the joy of togetherness, for it is a precious gift that enriches your soul. Let go of any distractions and fully immerse yourself in the present moment with your loved ones. Time spent with family is a treasure beyond measure, a reminder of the love that surrounds you always. I am your host, Just Mike, and this has been episode 25 of the Rock Out Wild Show. And on a final note, to all of you watching, get plenty of rest and always do your best.